to sleep. Man, that's kind of how the deer season's been, though, man. Waking up every morning, or, well, I say waking up. Really, the only time that I have available to hunt during the week is the afternoon. And I thought about that earlier. If you're managing your property, I'd much rather hunt in the morning time.
Yeah.
Because if you're hunting in the morning time and disturbing anything in the morning,
Mm-hmm.
the afternoon is kind of like their sanctuary time. You know, they're not going to be messed with. And then it keeps them on morning track, if that makes sense. Whitetail Habitat Solutions guy says if you don't mess up their afternoon feeding time, then their schedule doesn't get messed up.
Yeah, I just think there's certain areas that you don't want to hunt in the evenings, but there's certain areas that you do. Like, I love hunting fields because they're coming out there to feed and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But it depends on your objective. If you're going to take your rifle out,
Yeah,
you can go out there and just bust one from 500 yards away, or if you just
that makes sense too.
But
yeah, because if you're bow hunting, you might be a little close.
I've killed more deer
in
the evenings, in the afternoons than I have in the mornings.
Well, I feel like if you were to put a tally mark for every morning hunt that I've had and every afternoon hunt, I would have way more afternoon hunts than morning hunts.
Yeah,
I just don't hunt.
They're more
hunt
convenient.
Mornings. Yeah, very,
especially for work days.
Yes.
Like you can go hunt in the evenings after work if you have time off or whatever. Especially this time change sucks. I hate it.
Man.
I wish our work schedule would. If the time's going to keep changing, I wish the work schedule would go back an hour. Like we'll come in earlier and leave an hour earlier.
That would be awesome. That would be awesome.
I could hunt a lot better that way.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Well, and then once the time does change, like you're talking about, it takes your 4 o'clock, barely getting in the stand in time to it's really too late. Kinda.
Yeah. Get in there, leave work at 3 o'clock, bring all your stuff with you, change at work if you have to, and then go straight to the stand.
Oh, yeah.
So,
man, this deer season, though, my expectations have been set really high just because last year.
Mm-hmm.
And they just...
It's a cat. At least has a cat now.
I felt the tail on my back. I didn't know. It jumped up here on the chair with me.
You can take it and chunk it across the room if you need to.
No, I'm not going to do that.
It always lands on its feet. Cats always land on their feet, so it don't matter.
Not that one.
Well, that one needs to go outside then. But
well, man, it feels good to be back.
It does.
And not to say that we have to explain the reasons why
just busy, man.
It's been a hectic life.
Yeah.
As an adult.
As an adult. Getting married, going places, you know. It's crazy. So
you had your honeymoon. You got married.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that was a good weekend, too.
Yeah, it was.
I enjoyed your wedding.
Yeah,
that was nice.
That was fun.
It was professional looking.
It went by like super fast. Like it's already been like a month.
Yeah. Well, and then after that,
2 months.
man, I don't know about you. I've been out there in the deer woods trying to chase deer. I'd been unsuccessful doing it.
Yeah.
It's like I hadn't even learned anything.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? This entire deer season's just been one for the books. It's been weird. Different.
It's definitely been a weird season, but I'm not gonna say I had a bad season so
Right.
far. I've had a really good season. I've hunted a lot, seen a bunch of deer, but not the deer I'm wanting to see. Maybe my expectations are a little higher.
Yeah.
Had a bunch of good deer on camera, but I just haven't seen them in person.
That one deer,
It's crazy.
I came across it the other night looking through my photos. Man, it's such a nice deer.
I don't know what happened to him.
Early season deer?
Early season. We had a bunch of pictures of him, and he was coming out regularly. Mm-hmm. Not when I was there, but as soon as rifle season came around, I don't know if somebody killed him or he got, looking for some tail and took off.
Man, I know those deer. I know they travel a good amount. You know, one of your buddies was actually explaining, just telling me how far. They've done research and studies. Colleges, they tend to break things down, put trackers on deer, and really study how far they travel during rut. And I was amazed.
Yeah. I think it was like 180 miles.
It is ridiculous.
It was crazy.
They have their summertime patterns where they stay, like to hang out, and then they have their wintertime fall patterns where they like to hang out in the fall.
They like to roam.
Uh-huh.
When that rut hits, they go. They travel. And it's crazy because, especially late season, when you have your cameras out, you see all these new bucks show up on camera that you've never seen all summer long. You're like, where have you been, bud?
Yeah.
And it's not a local deer for your little farm, and they're just bringing in new deer.
Dude, it's
and your
crazy.
deer usually run off. And if you don't kill them early season, they're gone.
They're gone.
Normally.
Yeah, and one deer that I was chasing last year, man, I had pictures of him until the end of the year. I haven't had one single photo of him this year. Same, the biggest deer that I was chasing last year it showed up December the 6th.
Yeah.
Stayed from December 6th until the end of the season, until January. I think it was to the 21st week, the first snow that we had, the big snow, the ice storm. I had a picture of him then. That's after the season. Still hadn't seen him this year.
I know.
I don't know what happened.
Well, he could have. I mean, there's a number of things. Somebody could have killed him early season, or he could have died over the summer. He could have lost his mass of horns, and he might have just a different rack. You know, they so many different variables that could happen with those deer. And I mean, deer are crazy. They do different. They do weird stuff. Like, you think you know what they're doing, you don't.
No, and they always sneak up on you. I feel like that's a fun thing about bow hunting or deer hunting in general. If you're setting up in a deer stand in a tree, and you're just on your phone or piddling or looking off in the distance, and then one will sneak up on you, and you didn't hear him. Mm-hmm. I mean, you know what? It just magically appeared out of thin air, and it creeps me out every time, because you're like, how can an animal be so discreet movement-wise from getting to point A to point B and weigh over 100 pounds easy?
Yeah. Easy. It's crazy. And then a little bitty squirrel, about quarter of a pound, pound and a half, whatever it is.
Man.
Makes the most racket in the woods, rolling around the leaves, doing whatever they do. So
I had 5 of them messing with me the other day, and I was going insane because you'd hear them kind of wrestle, and then you'd bark, and I'm like, oh, it's a squirrel. But every time you hear them, the leaves ruffle. You're like, oh, deer. Is that, hey, big buck? Nope.
Get your hearts pumping real quick. And you're like, oh, damn it, where's that squirrel at?
Yeah. You get all ready, get your gun or get your bow up, and then it's the squirrel. You see it running off in the distance.
That's why I always bring a field point. I'll stick that field point in and pin that squirrel to the ground. Have squirrel and gravy.
Yeah. You ain't making no more noise in my woods, no more squirrel.
And there's about 600 more just coming around the woods.
Yeah. Dude, back in the day, my grandma, I would get outside with my pellet gun during squirrel season, of course, and shoot as many squirrels in the neighborhood as I could. On my property. And my Meemaw, she hated it, man. She's like, Tanner, don't shoot my squirrels. Don't shoot. She ended up she went through a little time period where she liked trapping them. And she would have the live trap, and she'd set the corn cob in the back, taught her how to trap a little bit. Dude, she caught like over 30 squirrels.
Wow.
And she did some research, and you're actually supposed to take the squirrels over 3 miles or they'll come back. Mm-hmm. So she would take them down the cemetery and release them. Live release these squirrels.
So there's like 30 squirrels in the cemetery now.
Yeah. I'm sure they're all back here at the house, of course, now. But
that's a funny story you said that. I mean, funny that you said that. One time we caught a cat in a live trap at the house.
Yeah.
And we took it all the way to the ranch for to leave it in the barn, like a little barn cat. Mm-hmm. And that sucker over 3 miles. And the sucker came back to the house one day.
It's crazy.
We put him in the car, drove him down the highway. That was probably 5 miles.
Yeah.
Or I think it's about 5 miles, whatever, as a crow flies. And that sucker came back to the house a couple days later, which is the weirdest thing. Like, how does he know where to go?
I don't know.
That's weird.
They're smart animals.
I know. So
since our last podcast, I've been getting some stand time hours at least. And on opening morning, I had a bobcat come 15 yards. I had my bow in my hand. I shot over it. I'm pretty discouraged.
Yep.
And then mid-November, same thing happened. I shot actually really high this time because I was on the food plot. Mm-hmm. Didn't range him. Didn't stop him. Let him do his thing.
Yeah.
If I see that joker again, I'm using my rifle. I'm blowing him up. I don't care.
I haven't seen a bobcat in person in a long time. I had one on camera this year. I have a bunch of coyotes on my camera.
Yeah.
I got a new cell cam, and it's been out. It's been running for the last month or two, probably 2 months now. And all kinds of animals show up in the thing. I got birds, squirrels, coons, possums, deer, coyotes. Everything just triggers that camera, which is kind of cool because I'm like, it sends your phone, and I get so like, oh, it's gonna be a deer. It's gonna be bird. But
man, crows scare me, and I got a lot of pictures of crows, and like I have this one set up in the hardwoods, and man, for a crow to get down there on the ground, it's kind of weird, and then you'll see like 100 blackbirds just feeding on your corn, it's just like it's random stuff, random photos you get. Mm-hmm. I got 1,000 photos. You go to check, it's like only 200 are deer, and the rest are just birds, squirrels, raccoons.
Yeah,
man, actually it's kind of funny. It's kind of humorous, I guess. It's cool seeing foxes and bobcats on your camera because they're like, man, I don't get to see those very often.
I know.
But to see raccoons doing it, mating, having babies. That's something else. And I actually had a photo I came across the other day. This raccoon, he had his heart on, if you know what I'm saying. This raccoon was about to get him something. And I had that on my camera. I was like, yep,
That's
deleting
funny.
this. Yep, delete.
I've had wild hogs, several pictures of wild hogs with the feeders doing that.
Oh,
it's
man.
so funny.
Yeah.
'Cause I always send it to all my buddies. Like,
Well, I was going to send the photo, but I didn't want to get in trouble. It's like, I don't know if it classifies as what I was thinking it classifies as, but I just saw it and deleted the photo. You know what I'm saying? But, man, I have
discreetly delete.
But
now all our listeners know about it. So
yeah. Well, all you out there, if I ever get a photo like that again,
Yeah.
I'll be sure to capture it.
yeah, what's the funniest trail cam pictures y'all have got? I mean, I love getting funny trail cam pictures or seeing on Instagram all the crazy trail cam pictures.
Oh, yeah,
there's
for
all
sure.
kinds of. You never know what you're going to catch on these
No,
suckers.
you have no idea. It could be well, I mean, let your mind just imagine a couple things, and I'm sure you'll get it.
Yeah.
On camera. I've had pictures of dogs, I mean, with collars on, and in the woods. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
And when I was out there, I was hunting a place over there by Northamar, by the school. Mm-hmm. And man, I've had some good seasons out there. I got to hunt it for 3 total years. And those big sheepdogs, the white ones, that are real mean.
What do you call those things? I don't even know what they're called.
They're nice, though. They're nice to you, but they can be really aggressive dogs.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I saw a picture of that, and it looked like a wolf. You know what I'm saying? Oh, my gosh.
What's this thing called?
The cat's up on the table, so we had to fix it.
This sucker just looks at you, and his eyes get real big. The pupils dilate, and he's like, I'm about to tear some stuff up. I'm not kidding you. Like, but anyways.
He's just jumping around.
Yeah, I shot 2 does this season.
Oh, yeah.
And I was wanting to get them on camera, but one of them I got with the GoPro, just not the best footage, not enough footage to actually show. I might throw something together towards the end of the season, but man, I've hunted and hunted and hunted, and I've had great stand times, great encounters, just not the bucks I'm looking for, which is, I mean, it's not a bad thing. I've shot some does, seen a bunch of deer, seen a bunch of hogs and stuff. Just, I don't know.
And that's always fun too. When you go out, if you're unsuccessful, at least getting to see a couple deer, like 5 deer, within that stand time, you're like, you don't feel as bad. But like I went last night or yesterday afternoon, man, we had 17-mile-an-hour winds, but we had a cold front push in. Mm-hmm. Last week it was in the 70s. Man, at 40 degrees and a 17-mile-an-hour wind, those deer should be moving regardless. It'll rain yesterday morning. I was sitting there thinking, I was like, okay, so if the deer are going to be out, they're going to be out, right? Mm-hmm. I'm going to get a big buck coming into the corn, coming into the food plot. I'm going to be able to shoot him. It doesn't matter if he's 200 yards away. I have my rifle, and I'm down to that point right now. I don't even take my bow anymore. And I feel bad. No, truthfully, I feel bad because I wanted to harvest my first huge deer with my bow. But I'm to the point to where you don't have very many chances throughout the season. This is what we've kind of brought to the listeners' attention. Since we kind of started the podcast, man, you got 2 or 3 opportunities a year. You need to take advantage of them. Well, if you're limited, though, if you have your bow in your hand, because you're only able to shoot. I mean, some guys, man, they shoot 100 yards, but that's pushing it, man. Like 50 yards probably is what you'd be comfortable shooting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll take a 50-yard shot.
Would you shoot 60?
I would shoot. With my bow set up right now, the farthest I can go confidently, I can shoot 60 yards, and then when I start going to 70, my fletchings start hitting my housing of my sight, so I can't really go any farther. Yeah. But I'm confident out to 60. And but
with the rifle, you at least have 140 more yards that you feel comfortable, shooting. Yeah. And a lot of the opportunities that I had last season, I've reflected this season, knowing and kind of encountering what I encountered. Man, I had a really good deer. It was a 9-point I'd been watching, and it came out in the field, and it actually winded me. It walked out, swung wide, and once it winded me, if I would have had my rifle right then, I could have just and it would have stopped, and I would have shot at the deer. Same thing for the really, really big 8 that I was after last year as well. Yeah. So I'm just to the point now, I actually set up and I don't advise this at all. I never really walked or wandered into the right piece of property. It's just a hardwoods. I just let the deer kind of roam back there, and I don't ever go back there. But 2 weeks ago, I ended up I got a lone wolf stand and the sticks. Super simple to install by yourself. I had my lineman's rope on. It took me about an hour to do it. I was talking to Nelson. I was trying to look for some good sign, and I was just trying to get a little encouragement, blindly, of course, because, I mean, he wasn't seeing where I was going, but I was just telling him, there's a creek over here. I'm seeing a couple good scrapes. Nelson was trying to share with me kind of some things to look for because, I mean, honestly and truthfully, I'm not the best deer hunter. I mean, I don't have a 10-point buck hanging on my wall right now, shoulder mount. It's something that I'm unknowledgeable with, that I'm trying to gain knowledge.
Mm-hmm. And the best way to gain the knowledge is get out there and do it. And take as much feedback you can from anybody that's in the woods doing. You might just learn just a little bit from here,
right?
A little from that guy over there. You never know. Go to the donut shop in the morning, meet the old guys, wear your camouflage, and I guarantee you'll strike up a conversation.
Oh yeah.
Remember that time we walked in that one donut shop?
Yeah.
Anyways, we'll say that for another podcast.
Man.
A little story.
We have a video on that too.
Yeah.
Not of actually going in the donut shop, but eating donuts in the truck. Man, that was a rough morning.
Yeah.
But still, I just didn't want to portray to anyone out there that I'm just some bow hunting, deer hunting legend. I'm just a normal guy chasing a big deer. And I feel like a lot of you can relate to that. So,
oh yeah,
if there's anything that you can just take note of to increase your knowledge or to better yourself off throughout the season, man, that's kind of what we're here for.
Exactly.
Share our experiences, what we've done wrong, what we think we've done wrong, and try to help each other out. That's what it's all about.
And we want all y'all's feedback, so maybe we'll learn something from y'all. Because we're all here together to learn. We're all hunters out here in the woods.
Now, I feel like luck, though, has to be on your side on this.
Luck. I mean, I haven't done anything wrong this year.
Yeah.
I feel like I've done everything right, but I've done everything right this year, like in the hunting. Like I just haven't seen the big deer.
Yeah.
And it falls down, I think, to luck, the right time, or being at the right place, the right time. Because, like, I'll be at this stand, I'll get a cell cam picture in the bucks at the other stand.
Yeah.
And then it's opposite. So it's just being at the right place, the right time. Get all your ducks in a row. Make sure all your, what do you want to call it? The variables are all in your favor.
There you go. You want the highest percent chance when you go out that you can harvest that deer. Yeah, fresh cup of coffee he's got in his hand. Ooh.
Black Rifle. This is a new one I've got. It's called Blackbeard, and it's like a dark roast.
Yeah.
I didn't make it really stout this morning, but I made it for the French press, and it's pretty good.
I like it. It's not too bold of a taste. It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's just like it's not a medium roast. It's dark roast coffee, but it's just, I don't know. It's just got a good flavor.
Something about coffee too in the stand.
I know it.
Regardless of what you're doing.
I always bring coffee in the mornings.
Well,
always.
Not to change subjects. Kind of crazy over here, but they make the cold brew concentrates now.
I got some in the freezer.
And
refrigerator.
That's literally the best thing that you could do. Now, if it's not super, super cold outside, if it's 30 degrees, you probably want, a thermos. You got your nice Yeti over there. You put a whole pot of coffee in, it seems like, but you can take that out. But if you're ever in a rush, in a hurry, and you want to get out the stand, and you don't have time to make coffee, get you a concentrate. It's a little cup. Mm-hmm. It's like a K-cup for the Keurigs.
Yeah. And
you literally pour it in your water. And then you got coffee.
Hey, you know what?
So it's pretty cool.
I'm not a big fan of cold coffee. I mean, I'll drink it if it's like, I don't know. Sometimes I like it, sometimes I don't. But what you can do, you can take an ice cube tray and freeze your coffee in cubes. So when you want to cool your coffee off, you don't water it down. You put a coffee cube in there.
Wow.
And you'll cool your coffee off, but with coffee. So it's not like watering it down.
Where'd you learn it at?
My dad. He used to do that all the time.
Man, that's a really smart little tactic there.
I know it.
Well, for my coffee, I like hot coffee on a cold day. It's good, but I like cold coffee.
Yeah.
I had a gentleman at church today. He saw me drinking the iced coffee, looking like Dr. Pepper in a cup. But he said, "Man, you're just like my wife." I was like, "Well, yo, what is that supposed to mean? I like cold coffee. I'm sorry."
There's no wrong way to drink coffee. It's the way you like to drink it. And everybody's like, "Oh, you can't drink it like that." So, drink it how you like it, and then worry about your own business, man.
Hey, same thing. You talk about. I'm glad that you said that. I'm glad that you said that because with hunting, I know there's right ways to hunt, there's wrong ways to hunt, but you need to approach it the way that you want to approach it.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Hunt the way that you want to hunt, and then through your mistakes, learn what you need to learn, and get out there and do what you need to do. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I agree.
Because I feel like that I've done some things wrong this season. I feel like I've done some things right, and therefore I feel like I should be successful. I feel like I should already have my tags filled and I shouldn't be worried about chasing any more deer. Man, we're getting down to the nitty gritty, and we got 2 weeks, like 2.5 weeks tops, whatever it is. It's still January 2nd, I believe. It's like the Sunday.
The 3rd.
The 3rd.
The 3rd this year. Yeah.
January 3rd.
It always falls on the first week of January, like whatever the
weekend is.
Yeah. Or like the end of it's always January. So yeah.
And that's another reason why, not to give myself an excuse, but that's why I am taking my rifle too.
Yeah, take those things that you think that you've done wrong.
Yeah.
Write them down, put them in a mental note, and don't do them next year. Just learn off of it. You said you weren't learning anything this year. You sound like you just learned a bunch.
No, yeah. I mean, I have. I've been listening to that guy, Whitetail Habitat Solutions guy, and I feel like I finally have understood the gist of his videos. He doesn't just go off and say, hey, this is what you need to do. He's very repetitive, and it literally gets engraved in your head if you're watching more than just one episode. But his big deal is the food plot's in the center of your property, and hardwoods are around it. And then you plant your food plot, and you don't touch your food plot. You let the deer come there, and that's kind of like the sanctuary. I mean, you could walk through it, I guess, hunt it from a distance with a rifle, but let those deer just make that their own little sanctuary where they can feed anytime and not feel threatened.
Yeah.
And then off of that, you hunt the edges, you hunt the corners, and that's something that you've brought to the audience's attention too at the beginning of the year.
Something like that. I mean, not necessarily a food plot be the sanctuary area or just the center of the property, but maybe certain thickets or certain areas that you don't touch because you know those are like a bedding area, a sanctuary, where you don't want to go in there and disturb the deer because you might think they're hanging out in there. Now, sometimes I feel like it's okay certain times of the day or whatever to go in there and maybe hang a trail cam just to keep inventory of what's going on, but don't stay in there. Don't go in there all the time. Maybe like once or twice a month or 2 months or whatever it is. Just try to keep as much scent out of there because you could bump some deer. You never know. But I do think that having some parts of your property where you don't touch is very, very, very helpful in your success of deer hunting. And it also depends on if you're hunting with a property with a bunch of people on it, maybe like a lease or like our family property. We have, 10 people hunting on 500 acres, which is like a big piece of land, but for 10 people to hunt off of, and most of everybody on that is gun hunters. So we have a bunch of box stands, and there's only 3 or 4 of us that are tree stand hunters. And the tree stand hunters, we like to be in the woods, on the edge of fields or whatever. Well, sometimes the box stand hunters, we're in between them or whatever. And we don't like that, and it's not a safety factor because we know where everybody's going.
Yeah, you're not worried about someone shooting you.
Yeah, but sometimes it's just hard to leave certain areas when there's so many people hunting. That's what I was getting at.
Yeah.
That was like a long
answer
to that, but
it
just depends on your situation.
Yeah, I get what you're talking about. Just I don't know. It's your confidence level. It just seems to increase though when you do have the rifle in your hand because you're able to reach out there and really get those deer attention.
There's nothing wrong with that's a perfectly legal way to do it. Is rifle hunt. Everybody does it. There's nothing wrong with it. But if you have a goal in mind of killing one with your bow, like last year, everybody knows the story. Last year, like I said, I'm not gonna take my gun out until last day. Last day, brought my gun out, shot a big deer. This year, I'm not gonna touch the gun as much as I want to, just for my own goal. I'm just gonna bow hunt throughout the whole season.
Yeah.
So like your goal, you bow hunted all season long, and now there's nothing wrong with taking a rifle out.
Yeah. I've just messed up too many opportunities with my bow, and it's not that I'm just like I'm a terrible bow hunter.
Yeah.
It's just.
Well, do like my brother does.
I shook
take
too.
Both.
Yeah, I shook too bad though.
Yeah.
One winded me. I mean, it's just part of hunting.
That's hunting.
But when the rifle is in play, it's like a cheat card. You know what I'm saying? Or a cheat code. You can just go out there and kind of do whatever.
Once you lose that feeling of, the feeling when you shoot a deer with the bow.
Yeah.
Like it's just like the best feeling in the world.
Amazing.
But if you go out rifle hunting and you don't get that feeling, just don't rifle hunt.
Oh yeah.
Just don't worry about it. But if you still get the feeling from rifle hunting, take the rifle, man. Take the rifle and go kill some deer.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I asked a gentleman. I don't really even want to state his name. He's a really, really good deer hunter though, and kills a lot of huge deer in the area. But he bow hunts.
Okay,
that's what he does. And I asked him. He's killed, like I said, a ton of big deer. I said, "Has that feeling that you get, that buck fever, even the doe fever?" I said, "Do you still have it? You still get it?" And he said, "Oh yeah."
Yeah.
And I said, you've given me some hope, because I don't want that to ever go away. And if it does go away, it's going to be hard for me to step in the woods. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. If you lose all that drive and that, I mean, that's what you're doing it for.
People think you're crazy going to sit out there in 20-degree weather.
Yeah.
But you're out there, you're chasing what you want to chase. You're chasing your big deer. You think he's going to move on that day? That's why you're sitting in 20 degrees. If you don't have that adrenaline rush, though, once he comes out.
Then what you do, then you go get you like a longbow and go try to get even closer.
Or a pistol.
Or like an atlatl.
Yeah. You been telling about that pistol story last year?
Yeah, I shot a doe a couple years ago with a pistol.
So cool.
And I was rifle hunting. Me and my cousin were sitting in the box stand together, and this doe come right up to the box stand, and he had his pistol, and I was like, give me that pistol. And I dropped that doe. Dropped her in the tracks. I dropped her, but then she was still kind of flopping, and I mean, had to shoot her again. But it is what it is. But I shot a deer with a pistol.
It's still awesome.
A 9mm Glock.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
So, I mean, I feel confident with my pistol shooting out to about 25, 30 yards. I'm pretty good with it. So,
man. I'll tell you what, that makes me kind of want to bring mine, because if I'm rifle hunting the food plot, it's where I bow hunt the food plot. You know what I'm saying? So if a deer comes in and it's feeding, I could shoot him with my bow if I had it. But that would be kind of cool to take a pistol out there and stinking shoot. Yeah. You
just got to get good with it. Just make sure you're confident with your shooting. You don't want to go out there and wound a deer and not find it or whatever, because then you just get even more discouraged. You know, so always practice with your equipment. But like the buck fever thing, that's just something you got to work on over time. Like control your breathing, control your jitters. Yeah. And I really do think it helps to have a buddy sit and stand with you.
Yeah, you spoke on this last time.
And they kind of like calm you down.
Yeah.
It's like just a mental, even if they're not saying anything, just to having them with you, because you're like, I don't want to mess this up. So
yeah.
I gotta stay calm.
Right.
It works for me. So
yeah. Well, typically when you have your buddy with you, you know it's on film. So I feel like that's kind of a way to keep your composure as well. But man, when I see a big deer, there's no holding back. They say take deep breaths. Yeah, that's understandable. I feel like holding your breath, passing out for a couple of minutes, and then regaining consciousness, is a way to go.
Mm-hmm.
No, yeah, like literally pass out for a couple
fall
minutes.
Out the tree stand.
Then
trust your safety harness.
There it is. When you come back to life there, okay, then that's when you make your shot. No. But hey, it is what it is, and hopefully, next time we sit down and come to y'all, we'll have a better story about us with a big deer, potentially. Nelson has an incredible deer on camera. I did have one on camera. Let's hope and pray that he's still out there.
I haven't seen him since, but I did get one this morning. I'll show you. It's not a really good picture, but you can tell he's heavy. It's just not that good picture. Big old body deer. Oh, he's moving. Dude. The camera's kind of blurred, but
for sure.
He looks heavy. I don't know. That's the first buck I've had on camera, but it's at 2:00 in the morning.
I've got a 4-year-old 6-point though that I'm chasing right now.
Hey,
and that's the only buck that I feel
antlers.
Satisfied with killing, just because of I want him out the pack. Like I feel like he's got good genetics other than the horn. Like he's got the mass, he's got the width, he's got the height. He just doesn't have G3s, G4. Like he doesn't have nothing. Just the main beams and what is G2s.
G2s, your G1s are your brow tines, and then you go off to your G2s, and then everything out all the way to the tip.
So it'd be G2s. He's got his main beams, like horrible little eye guards. Like they're rough. They're tiny, Bequito and Espanol. You know what I'm saying? They're tiny, but it is what it is, and that's the deer I'm chasing. And like I said last year, December the 6th, that's when I got my new deer, my big daddy. But they say as a deer matures, that space, it's like they require little space. I say little space. They're more. I don't know how to put this in terms. I'm sorry. Big deer, as they progress and get older, it's like their comfort zone, their comfort area gets littler and smaller and littler.
Their home range gets smaller and smaller?
Yes. But it's not, because I want to say it gets wider, but that's not the case. They get further and further away from normal deer activity, if that makes sense. Okay. They're off in the distance. You know what I'm saying?
Maturing, right. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
As they're maturing, they're gaining knowledge of hunters' whereabouts of where the hunters are at, and that's what I'm saying. They're so intelligent, they're so smart. They just isolate themselves.
Well, they don't get old for being stupid,
right? But a lot of deer hunters, they don't take that in consideration when they go out there and they're chasing big deer. They're like, man, why ain't they out in the field? Well, that's a big mature deer, and it's probably going to be back off there in the thickets.
Yeah.
Next to a creek.
Unless
you know
they're
what I'm
rutting
saying?
real hard, and they'll make a mistake and get out there, but a mature deer, he's smart. He'll stay right inside the wood line and watch from a distance where you can't see him, but he knows exactly where you're at, where everything's going on. But like I said, they don't get old being stupid.
There's a show on TV, Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? It should be, Are You Smarter Than the Big Deer You're Chasing? Because that's what it's going to take for you to kill him, okay? But like you said, those mistakes that they make, the opportunities that you have, those are mistakes.
Yep.
I 100% believe it.
Learn from them.
Man.
Learn from them. Well, that's about all the time we got for this podcast. Thank y'all so much for listening. Subscribe to anywhere you listen to these podcasts, Spotify, Apple Play, or Apple Play, Google Play, Apple Podcasts, all the things.
Be sure to tell your buddies about us too.
Yeah.
Get us out there. Get the name out there. The Outdoor Talk. Your home outdoor station. No, sounded like a radio broadcaster right there. Yes, sir.
Thank y'all for listening. We'll catch you on the next one.
Peace.